Ranking Member, Mr. Castro.
Thank you. Mr. Wells, you made a comment, and there was some discussion about the migration situation of Venezuelans to Colombia. And can you describe how Venezuelans have been treated in Colombia who are arriving from Venezuela there? Or either one of you, I mean, whoever is best suited to answer that. For example, have they been provided work permits, food, shelter, so forth?
Yeah, I'll take that, Representative Castro. Thank you for that. So it's noteworthy that Colombia has provided temporary protective status to 2.5 million Venezuelans. Colombia has advanced rapidly to pre-register and register close to 2 million of those folks. Colombia, by being registered, those Venezuelans have access to health care in Colombia. They can enter the job market in Colombia. They would pay taxes, I believe, in Colombia. They can put their children in school. And so USAID has been an important partner to Colombia in helping them do that. Colombia has established dozens of integration centers around the country to help that process. USAID is supporting Colombia in 11 of the centers that receive the biggest flow through of Venezuelan migrants. And again, our support has just helped that registration process. It's helped them get connected to health care, to help their kids get in school. And we also work with microfinance banks to provide credits to Venezuelan migrants so they can start businesses. And we provided business training as well to thousands.
And let me add, well, first I want to say thank you to USAID, to the State Department. Thank you for your work there. And is it safe to say, fair to say, that if if Colombia was not so receiving of Venezuelans, that many of those Venezuelans might try to make it up north, including to the United States?
So I would say that Colombia's efforts to register and integrate Venezuelans is deterring them from going through the Darien Gap and from going north. And that's one of the reasons why USAID works closely with Colombia to just to help them to support their Venezuelan brothers and sisters.
And, you know, I know because we've been discussing political leaders and so forth and the actions of nations with respect to migration. I mean, you compare that to the barbaric actions of Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who put death traps at the U.S.-Mexico border in the Rio Grande, laid razor wire, including in areas of the river that rise such that that razor wire becomes invisible to people who make their way and get caught in it, and also installed barrel traps with netting so that people get caught in those barrel traps. So if those folks had not stayed in Colombia, it's likely that some of those Venezuelans would have encountered these death traps on the Rio Grande. It's gotten so bad that there was a 4-year-old girl who was passing out in the water and was instructed by Texas State Trooper leadership to be pushed back into the water towards Mexico. Very barbaric, inhumane policies that you might expect to see come out of a place like North Korea or somewhere like that. So I want to say thank you to Colombia, to both its conservative and liberal presidents who have maintained that policy of treating folks humanely in both conservative and more progressive governments. And thank you all for your work in supporting them. I also want to ask you just one more question. President Petro represents change in Colombian politics, but I believe there's still substantial continuity in U.S. Colombian relations. Can you both speak, or either one of you speak, because I'm short on time, to whether you've seen a significant change in our relationship with Colombia, particularly cooperation on such areas of national and regional interest since President Petro was elected? Has something significantly changed in the U.S.-Colombia relationship, in your estimation?
Thank you for the question. No, in the regional context, we still have great cooperation with the Colombians. As I mentioned, they held a conference on Venezuela and convened 20 countries to talk about the international community's response for Venezuela and encouraging a democratic a return to democracy. I also say, just from as was previously mentioned, just that there is a continuation of extraditions. There's a continuation of military and military exercises. There has been no interruption that we can see in joint police operations to confiscate drugs. So institutionally, all of those pieces we see as having no change, and we continue to have good cooperation, even though there is a change in political perspective in the presidency.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your testimony. I yield back, Chair.